Well, it seems that in the end, the Blackbeard pirates and the Heart pirates are fighting. Do I think Law will survive this? No, I do not. But only because despair seems to always want to win. We do see a little bit more of the style of the Heart pirates this time. Turns out a lot of them are actually used to fighting water. Kind of ironic, given that the fact that their captain is a devil fruit user. Law orders Hakugan to take the polo tang, while Sashi and Penguin goes into the sea. And Blackbeard fires Tremor Crush, which is actually one of the first times he actually names an attack. But Whitebeard never named any attacks, but only in the video games. Law immediately uses his awakening to cut stronger into two at a distance. And Doc Q throws his exploding apples, which I think is Sashi, swallows a lot of water and fires them as projectiles to destroy those bombs, saying they shouldn't underestimate people who are in water. In fact, a lot of them are mentioning that they're swimming so well in the water, so a lot of people begin to wonder, are they half fishmen? And I'm saying, no, people. I do not think they're half fishmen. Would it have been good if they were? Yes, it would, but I don't think they are. I just think they are extremely good swimmers. And so John Bart protects Law with his hard body, which when Vagoer tries to find it all. And then he fires a shock willy into Blackbeard that causes major damage. All the while Van Uger is saying that when you short without a plan. Once again showing that Blackbeard is not one for planning, he just adapts. But he is always never retreating because he is Blackbeard. So in the end he attacks Law again, who once again just mentions that all of your officers have Delphi user powers. Isn't that a weakness to the sea? But Blackbeard says it's worth the benefits. Oh yeah, the fact is the cover of this page actually showed Pudding being captured. Yes, it was Kusan, aka Aokichi, who is now a member of the Blackbeard Pirates for some very strange reason. And it turns out the other one was Van Ogre, which is actually kind of frightening because that implies that the teleportation through the Van Ogre can really get there fast. Unless, of course, this happened, while the crew was away on Wano. And Pudding is there now with a third eye open, but I do not think she has awakened it. And even if she had, she will not use it. She is bandaged, implying that she put up a fight. And a Blackbeard minor member is saying that their Commodore will do it. But Pudding, just being defiant, just says that if Mama is still alive, you won't be talking much longer. Implying that she doesn't know if Big Mom is alive. In fact, we don't even know if Big Mom is alive. A lot of people are apparently assuming that Big Mom is dead. And if you ask me, I hope she is dead. She's an eyesore. Not because she's a bad character, but only because she's an eyesore. But I don't think she is really that dead. So the fighting between Law and the Blackbeard continues. All the while, somehow Sakazuki has found out and is still on the defensive. Every single time he appears, he is not acting like himself. The old Akainu was always for immense offense, but now he is hesitant. I don't know what happened. Back on the Yurabani side of things, Yurabani managed to make everyone disguised by turning them into old men or children. Herself and Jinbei into children, while Luffy is an old one, 70 years future, and so is Chopper. It's worth noting that his 70-year self you see here is very ominous of his bad future that Uda shown, possibly implying that this is Luffy's future. Granted, the page says in a different future, implying that this is in a different future when he would be like that. And so, Luffy is also saying that has bad memories of the pacifistas. So it's here that Jinbei drops some information that what he thinks he knows about Kuma. Apparently, it was very, very well known that Kuma was a king of Sorbet, and then he was driven out and became a pirate. He was affiliated with the Revolutionary Army. That actually shows that they always knew he was a member of the Revolutionary. The Navy captured him and sentenced to life imprisonment, but Vegapunk was interested in him, and they made him a Shibukai in exchange for donating his body. But Bonnie is pointing out that the clone development and the warlord system may have been true, but she doesn't believe for a second that Kuma volunteered or was meant to do that project. He was forced, and apparently Kuma was not a tyrant, which actually corresponds right, because everything we have seen of Kuma suggests that he is not a tyrant, and this is once again his world government propaganda, because he hated the government and everything else. So it's very likely that the government smeared his name. In fact, the fact that they say that he was a wicked king, that sounds very oddly familiar. And I'm not saying that because it's world government propaganda. I'm saying it's familiar because that sounds very similar to that Avaro Pizarro or something like that. That Blackbeard commander. He was also known as a wicked king and then kicked out of his people. But I think that is true, however, implying that maybe it's the same story. But what happened to the Sora Kingdom, I don't know. But Yuri Bonnie has, through the scrapyard, actually picked up a literal lightsaber. And now it's a scrap of inventions that Vegapunk had no further use of. But for a normal people, it is useful. So she turns them all back to their normal disguises or clothing, ages. And mentioned somehow that Kuma told her that he was a special people, a special race or something like that. And that did not give him the right to kill him, which Luffy agrees of. But Chopper is just confused by what she means by special people. So what, is Kuma either a special race that we don't know of, or a special people that is actually destined for something? Elsewhere is shown that the Vegapunk Force 01 actually can fly using anti-gravity and jet boosters, which is a huge achievement in itself. And now they enter the future island of Egghead, where the clouds is Labroface, where the research happens, while the down one is the factory levels, where the workers and researchers live there. And Lilith already know that they are there. Luffy is there. Brook and Zoro decides to stay on the ship because Zoro doesn't trust the little Vegapunk Lilith. And it turns out that the clouds of that they are standing on is actually the ground of Sky Island. Actually calling back for something that was told way back when in Skypiea, about the fact that they can modify the density of the cloud using pyroblane and moisture in condensed nuclear. That is the same from sea stone. That was mentioned by Papagu and it was flown overhead, but here Lilith practically gives the same explanation, except a little bit more scientific. She then directs them to get new clothing, and they all get new clothing. Well, the girls basically has a stripper outfit as usual, has nothing more than a thong and a shirt, although Robin has a shirt with an open cleavage and pretty badass gauntlets, I'd say. I mean, granted, she doesn't mind it. She doesn't really mind if she's that fan service, because it's light. While Usopp has basically the same jumpsuit that Lilith has, except with glasses. Frankie has, well, more robot designs and strangely has pants, while Sanji, for some very strange reason, is the only one who has an Aloha shirt and shorts. Will we finally see Busou Haki now that his legs are bare? Of course, he likes Robin and Nami's designs. Well, Frankie also likes his design, even because he's a pervert and everything. Finally, the chapter ends with the Shaka Vegapunk talking to someone on the phone, saying that they suspect that their deaths are imminent, and that's not a joke because they want this guy to hear him out, and that person is Dragon. Yes, it is finally confirmed that Vegapunk is associated with the Revolutionary. It's been a fan favorite forever, and for the first time in ever, it's finally confirmed that Shaka, or at least some of the Vegapunk clones, or maybe even Vegapunk himself, is connected to the Revolution Army. That brings forth a whole new different question, and that is, because what Bon is saying here, I actually believe it is true. Kuma was no tyrant. I don't believe for a second he was a tyrant. I believe it was world government propaganda, because he's been shown to be a very honorable man. But I think him becoming an experiment for the pacifistas, I think that is not so much like being forced to do it as suspected. No, I actually do think Kuma volunteered. Did he have a choice in the volunteering? Was it to protect Bonnie, or was it for something else that Vegapunk did? I mean, I'm pretty sure everything will be made clear this one. But Shaka suspects that Vegapunk's death is approaching. Well, I still haven't seen enough of Vegapunk to understand if Vegapunk deserves to die. But at least give us the truth on what Kuma is. Give me your thoughts if you have any.